What's up, guys? Welcome back. No. I will never, literally never do that. It's really annoying. Anyway, so I've had this car, my nitro yellow green Dodge Neon. I've had it since 2008, I think, late December 2008. I could double check. But anyway, I bought this car years ago. It was going to be my daily. And then it broke in New Jersey on the drive home. So it broke a timing belt. So I brought it home, sat on it for a month or two, and then, swapped the engine and transmission. Well, I didn't swap the transmission. Pulled the engine and trans out all in one go, swapped the new motor in. Deleted the power steering and air conditioning because I was 22 and I didn't care. And it was my daily for a long time. And then I bought a 12.5 to 1 race engine for it. It had 12.5 to 1, 400 lift cam with a lot of duration on the intake exhaust. It was big and choppy. I have a video of it idling like way back, and drove that around for a while. And it didn't run great on 93 because I didn't have like a custom tune made, so I had to mix race gas in 93, which smelled good. It was fun. And then that motor broke. It turned out it had been dropped. And when it was dropped, it snapped the crank snout because I went to change the water pump because it was making noise, and I found that out. And then I pulled it apart. The bearings were wiped out. I was like, this is it. Putting a stock motor back in. Put a stock motor back in it. Drove that for a long time. And, I keep losing my train of thought. My ADD is really bad today. So anyway, I drove it, put a stock motor back in it, drove that for a while. Drove my kids around in it when they were really tiny. And then I was driving it to work one day and I was like, wow, it's got a little knock. And I was like, I'm just going to drive to work. I really don't care. I'll just put another stock motor in it. So then got to the end of my road, turned out onto the highway and smacked it, knocking up a storm. Wide open throttle in the second, wide open throttle in the third. And then it started shaking and I was like, that's still not good. So I continued driving it, drove it 20 minutes to work, got there, and, the car would like violently shake if I held the clutch in. So I was like, oh, great. I snapped one of the little springs off the clutch. So I drove it home like that, like 25 minutes or whatever it was, and then parked it. And my thought was, I was like, you know what? This thing needs a paint job. It needs a clutch. It needs an engine. The transmission's fine. I was like, I'm not going to bring it back out until I have it perfect. And, I started buying parts for it. And I was going to just kind of slam it back together, replace all the front end bushings, replace all the K-frame, it needed a bunch of little things. And then I got stuck in that cycle mentally where I didn't want to do anything to it unless it was going to be perfect. And I ended up moving twice with it broken. I moved back to my parents' house, and then in 2016 we moved to Pennsylvania, still broken. And over the years I would like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do a turbo motor, or I'm gonna do SRT swap, and then I was gonna do a 2.4 with cams. And each time I would think about it, I would like start to make progress mentally about what I want to do and plot it out, and then kind of get frozen with, well, I won't be able to afford money to get it painted. I'm not going to be able to do this or that to it. And I just kept getting stopped in my own tracks by me wanting to try and do something perfect. So, I wanted, a couple months ago, I started really thinking about it. And I was like, you know what? I could just drive it. I could just, it's going to be ugly, but I don't care. Like it was ugly before and I kept driving it. So I have a motor I could put in it that's stock, I think, with a milled head. And then I have a dual cam block, and up there I've got a Magnum Neon single cam head. It has larger ports, upgraded valve springs, and all the valves are bent. So I think what my plan is, I'm going to use my dual cam block I've had laying around since like 2014 or 15, and then get the Magnum head off to a shop, get it milled, get the valves fixed up, and then I have a cam that is way too big for this. It's called the Crane 16 now. It used to be called the Crane 7, and before that was called the Crane 4, which is, I think, 355 on the intake lift, 345 on the exhaust, but the same duration as the Crane 5 or the 18 cam that I used to run. So I figured between the dual cam pistons, the milled head, I should be at like 11.2 to 1 compression. And it should be, no, I think not 11.2, I think it'll be 10.7. Anyway, it'll rate, you know, point higher in compression than what it came with stock. I'm going to put a PT Cruiser clutch in it because I like to roll the dice. I've heard, you know, stories over the years of them lasting 8,000 RPM clutch dumps, and then some of my friends saying I shifted from first to second pretty hard, it scattered. Or, you know, first time I took it over 8,000 RPMs, it scattered. I'm not going to rev it that high. I think I'm going to have my buddy tune this computer, and I'm going to rev it to, how about 76, 7800. I'm going to use that Magnum intake manifold, which means I need to get butterflies for it, or it has butterflies. Magnum intakes have this like little flapper valve inside of it. It's pretty rad, but you need like an RPM controller. They're easy to get. I'm going to get one of them, put that in here. But anyway, I'd started progress on this not too long ago. I finally got it washed for the first time since 2013. And then the other weekend, I decided to start working on it. I was like, even if I don't have all the parts I need, I can start making progress, because it's something I learned from Matt Happel from Sopping Mechanics, is any progress is going to be good progress. You got 10 or 20 minutes here or there, you can get something done. Now that I got my heater fixed, I'm going to work on my project car. Now, I have a lot of projects, so I'm trying to prioritize them and figure out what I'm going to actually do. So I'm going to get this running. My minivan still runs. My SRT swap to LeBaron is fine. That's going to need a clutch at some point. I also have a stage 2 setup SRT4 that I think just needs tires and brakes, and it might need an axle because they all do. So that's easy stuff, and I can do that when it warms up a little bit. But, you know, I only have enough room in my garage really for one car, because I got a lot of leftover storage stuff in here still. So I'm going to focus on this, you know. So what I need to do next is remove the K-frame. And after removing the K-frame, I'm going to try and power wash the engine bay some and clean it up, and then try and figure out my direction from there, whether I'm going to use that stock motor or assemble the Magnum head dual cam block. And yeah, but I need to replace the K-frame. The K-frame was damaged years ago before I bought it. And if you look at some pictures I've posted over the years, I'll see if I can dig up some. The passenger side tire sits out more flush with the fender than a driver's side. So I really wish I could just replicate the damage on the driver's side. It'd be flush with a 6-inch wide wheel, a 40 offset, but it's fine. It's fine for now. I'm just going to put another stock K-frame in it, not worry about it. I have a box with control arm bushings and all the front end bushings that I bought years ago. So anyway, I've talked now for way too long. So I'm going to start a time-lapse video, see if I can perch my phone somewhere that's going to be cool and get that going. Also, I really, really, really wanted to have my heater running while I was doing that, because I'm starting to get cold, because it's 20 degrees out in Pennsylvania, wind, and it feels like 6 outside, but this thing is way too loud. It's loud, but it works great. So I'm gonna have this running. I have my fan running because, you know, the heat rises up, the fan blows it back down. So let's get started. So, don't be like me. My tools are a mess. They're scattered to the four winds. I've been working on cleaning them up. I got them all at least in the same drawers, but I have not put anything in my socket organizers yet. I can't find my deep 19mm to get the tie rods off. So I'm gonna use a 3/4 adapter, or not a 3/4 adapter. I'm gonna use my 1/2 inch to 3/8 adapter on my 3/4 inch 3/8 drive chrome socket, and I'm gonna put it on the end of my impact gun. Apparently it's dangerous, so just don't be like me. So, something that I was afraid of happened. The control arm bolts that go vertical on the rear of the control arm in a Neon goes up into the frame rail, and it goes into a capture nut, one that's been spot welded to the frame. And if your car's from the Rust Belt, it'll probably break off when you go to do it. And that's exactly what happened with the rear on the passenger side. I'm gonna play with the driver's side one for a minute, but I'm not making any progress with the rear bolt on the passenger side. So I'm gonna have to weigh my options and see if I wanna cut the floor out or go in through the side of the frame rail. People have done both ways effectively. I just gotta see if I'm gonna use a fucking my angle grinder or unibit. So I'm gonna go do the other side now. I think I was wrong, and I think that bolt's actually coming out. So I'm going to reposition my jack under the K-frame and get it a little bit closer to the passenger side and see if I can just wrench it out of there. Yeah, so you can see I got three of the bolts out. The last one's in that corner, and I thought it busted off inside the frame, but apparently I loosened it. You can see everything moving around when I move the jack a little. So I'm gonna keep cranking at it. You listen close, you can hear the wind just like beating the crap out of my garage doors. Anyway, that fourth bolt is not coming out. I messed with it for a while. I'm tired of fighting. And so there's two ways to go about it. You can either go through the floorboard or you can go through the frame rail. The car's full of shit right now. I have not had a chance to clean it yet. So I'm gonna go through the frame rail. Yeah, that's how numerous other people have done it. There's benefits to both. But what I'm gonna do is, I feel like this way is gonna give me more access. And then when I'm done, I can just fold that piece back up, because I'm gonna cut across the top, cut two vertical lines, fold it down. And when I'm done, I can fold the piece back up and then patch it, or I can spot weld it or have my buddy Greg TIG weld it, because he has robot arms for hands and he could weld anything. So I'm gonna try and get a view for this. This is the first time I've ever taken an angle grinder to this car, and I'm a little perturbed. But stick with me through it if you want. I'm doing it right there. Who put this engine here? Put this here. kids. Let's see. Ooh, found some paint at least. Realistically, something is a little pry bar for a second. Let's sacrifice this screwdriver. Okay. Where's my big berth? Here we go. Making some progress now, kids. Oh boy. What the is even in there? Man, I swear. Can you see there? I think I just did this for nothing. Let's see if I can get something in there and blow this crap out. Let me lower the cape and see what it looks like when I'm doing that. Oh, that's the fucking jack. Dingus. You do one thing to do something else. You get to do the one thing back. I really should have moved that when I was done. Let's see what this looks like. Has it moved any? Is it out any? Oh. Bro, it's making tons of progress. That's rad! Well, I've been cranking on this thing for a hot minute, and it seems that the bolt is just spinning, and it's not making any progress. You know, like, it's made it down out of that thing, but I think the bolt is stripped at this point. So what I'm going to do is let the K-frame down as much as possible, and then see if I can slip my Sawzall in there somewhere, or take an angle grinder to the bolt head. But either way, this is got to go. I'm getting frustrated at this point. But I'm actually glad I cut the hole at this point, because now I can feel the bolt spinning but not going down. So it's definitely stripped. I'll be back. Yeah, I'm putting some damage on this baby. Why don't you guys tell me it happened? Oh, damn. Let's get this piece of junk out of here. Alright, let me move on the stuff. I just want to double check want to double check your work area underneath of where you're working. Make sure you got everything out of the way. Alright, here we go. What is holding that thing in? I'm gonna go hit it with the pry bar. There we go. That's out. Cool. Come on, focus. All right. Well then. Well, now that I got it out, tomorrow I'm taking a road trip to my buddy Robert's house. Robert has a very well-stocked junkyard by him all the way down to Richmond, Virginia. And I'd mentioned in a group chat that we're in, you know, hey, if anybody has a first-gen K-frame, I need one. I'll even take one that doesn't have the bobble strut bracket, which is this bracket right here. What that bracket does is it's like a fourth engine mount. It goes off the back of the transmission, like a, where did I put it? I set it down somewhere. I'll find it. I'll show you a picture later. So hold on. I might have been struggling for nothing because the bolt came out. Oh. It's out. It looks like the bolt was just hung up on the last couple of threads. So I would have had to replace the replace this piece anyway. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a another little piece of steel cut out to the size, and then probably have my buddy weld a nut to it, because if I do it, it's going to break, and fix it. But I know what happened. I figured it out. So in this control arm bolt or bushing, there's actually a sleeve that goes through the center, and sometimes this bolt will seize to this sleeve. So as I was running this bolt out, it was spinning the bushing here, and I assumed that this was all spinning. So it was pushing, because this was like way up inside of here. This is just a little piece of flimsy metal that's like, you know, captures that piece, that little weld nut that just came out. So what was happening is it was getting pushed up. It wasn't really, like, the bolt was not going down. So I still had to do this, even though I thought I didn't have to do it, but then I had to do it again. I knew I had to do it. I had done all this Saturday, and I was planning to end it there, but I decided I wanted to get a side-by-side comparison. And to do that, you have both K-frames side-by-side. And to do that, you get this one outside, and it's still attached by something. I'll show you. So years ago, I deleted the power steering, and I just looped those lines, And that little rubber thing right there is what's stopping me from getting this out. So I'm going to gently cut it and remove it. I need to do this a little safer. So these are the two K-frames side by side, and the only difference between a manual K-frame and an automatic is this little bracket here. So I'm thinking about chopping this off and just sectioning it onto this one. So the reason I decided to replace it is this is what the factory K-frame looks like, and this is what the old one looks like. It just got, looks like it was in a wreck or something. And I swore that years ago I could see a weld on there that wasn't there, but you know, maybe my memory's just fading and not as clear as it used to be. But this is bent. It was twisted that way, and that really messed the alignment up on this thing. Oh my God, I keep accidentally not recording. Thanks for suffering along with me. If you made it this far, I'm probably gonna end the video here. And yeah, so I gotta get tomorrow, Sunday, the 28th, I think, January 28th. I'm gonna go down to my buddy Robbie's house. I'm gonna go down there, get the new K-frame for this, bring it up here, compare it. Might see if I can chop off the bobble strut mount, have it welded onto my new K-frame. I might just give that a shot because I don't think I'll break it off. But anyway, if you suffered with me this long, thanks for watching. You know, I'm just going to keep plucking away at this a couple hours at a time.